So tonight's chapter is called Yaj Alocin, and it is December 26th, 2177. In the calm, quiet silence of space, stars twinkle and galaxies swirl at an imperceptible pace. The only true movement here is that of the roving dawn, as it moves at a nearly unimaginable speed of 1,498,000 miles a second. The entirety of the ship's hull, at first glance, appears to be solid gold, yet during timed intervals, the multitude of screens covering the hull blink for a moment to recycle the image. Preset ship hulls cycle between the collective few before resettling on the shining, reflective mirror-like image of gold. From the rear of the ship, 6 thrusters of varying sizes blast out glowing purple flames spurned from the engine's starfold drive. Inside the ship, all is quiet. Even Ares hovers in place, his normal gentle thrumbling now quiet as the small robot has settled into auxiliary mode. In the individual sleep pods, Torn has the ship to himself. He sees from a holographic projection on the desk across from his bed that the current galactic average time is 10 in the morning. He'd slept for 6 hours.
I think for Torn, it's like a much welcome change from being in the tent. So he slept restlessly. If you guys remember that episode of Ghost in the Shell where she comes back from war and she sleeps on the side of the cot, I think Torn did that last night because it actually feels better to him to be closer to what he considers the ground. You know what? I think he probably wakes with a start to try and remember where he is. Maybe he was woken up by a dream of a distant memory. Maybe he was woken up by just the fact that the air is so clean and that's like crazy for his body to deal with.
Right.
But he wakes up and he just immediately begins his routine of doing some exercise to get his heart pumping and make sure that his mind is sharp before he steps out of his quarters.
Okay. And did he bring anything personal from Odessa, like to like decorate the room with?
To decorate, you know what? Let's say during the ceremony for what was it called?
The Night of 10,000 Smashes.
No, the ceremony with the flag, Sandor Day or whatever it was called. What was that?
That was the Sandor festival. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Sandor. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'd say he picks up some knickknacks that he bought while he was hanging out with Dash that evening. Let's say there's something of a small model of the Odessan Palace.
Cool.
Let's say there's a little G.I. Joe like character of Odessan armor. Little details like that, because you see that he kind of has a focus on being truly culturally Odessan, but also he kind of worships in little ways the opportunity he got. So he's kind of collecting knickknacks that sort of galvanize or sort of commemorate his experience so far.
That's awesome. So after he finished exercising in the room, does he head down to the lower level? Because Alexei left like all of his fucking workout equipment down there.
Oh, cool. I had no idea. And then he goes to pump some iron.
Okay, cool. Dash opens her eyes to stare at the cool steel walls and ceiling surrounding her. The room is dark and it takes a moment for her eyes to adjust.
So Dash probably didn't sleep too much. She got maybe 4 hours if she was lucky. I think it took her a while to actually wind down and fall asleep after getting onto the ship. So she probably woke up around the same time as Torn.
Okay, cool. And what about her? Did she bring anything? Because, I mean, she was on Odessa for 6 months.
No, for the most part, it's pretty bare. What she does have, she's already put away.
Mm-hmm.
Her room is kept pretty neat. The military in her, never goes away. So everything is in its place. The most she has out is the picture that she brought with her sitting on her bed rest or her nightstand.
Go ahead and describe that picture again.
So it's of a man and a woman and like 2 small boys and then her as a small child.
Okay, cool. And what does her daily morning sort of preparation ritual look like?
She probably got up and took a shower. Does she know about the gym?
Yeah.
After her shower, she would have gone down to the gym, and she's probably on a treadmill running at a pretty good pace.
Okay, so then when Torn walks downstairs, since she woke up first, technically, he sees Dash pumping away on this treadmill.
Once he sees her, he doesn't bother interrupting her because he respects the craft of physical fortitude. So he just kind of acknowledges her with a nod and then moves over to the squat rack.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she definitely gives that nod back of just acknowledgement of what's up.
And then hours later, after both Karina and Bobby have also woken up, the pair, along with Ketch and Laszlo, make their way from the quarters to the galley for a late lunch. So then you guys roll your nightmare and depression. Karina did not have a nightmare, but Bobby does have depression today.
I will say that Karina went to bed at like probably really late. She was trying to be cool with everyone when everyone was awake, but once everyone went to bed, she kind of got caught. She was trying to play the game on Aries, and then kind of got caught in like a trauma cycle because the last time she was on the ship was right after she had been alone on the other ship for months. So she probably distracted herself with that game for maybe like 2 more hours, maybe tried to go to bed at 6. And we can say that maybe we can say that big time. We can say that the meds that Dash gave her like helped her not have a nightmare last night.
Oh yeah, that's right, she did give her those meds. The sleeping pills.
The sleeping pills. Yeah, so I guess we can say that she took one and managed to not have a nightmare, which she was not expecting that to actually work for her. So she's waking up really refreshed this morning at like this afternoon at maybe like 2.
Okay. Shit. Okay. What about Bobby?
Karina was up till 6?
I guess.
Is that what I heard?
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, actually, if they're up at 10, we can say that she woke up maybe at like 12. So like 6 to 12. She got 6 hours.
Yeah, I feel like Bobby's probably like depressed today because he stayed up way too late as well. I didn't know Aries could play games. Like, yeah, that's pretty dope.
It was something she added. Like it was, you remember? It was like almost the last moment of the night. She basically had like the old phone like snake game, like playing on Aries' little face.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah. Damn, you didn't invite me? We could have been up late playing games.
I can show Bobby in the morning.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
All right. Yeah, Bobby likes to stay up late and just like fuck around too. So he probably stayed up super late and woke up late with Karina.
Okay.
And now his whole day is ruined because he stayed up too late.
Well, yeah, he's got depression today. Poor thing.
Well, I mean, also, like, it tracks for him to have depression because, like, yesterday was the Sandor Festival. And, like, yesterday was the Sandor Festival. Last night, he tripped. He got woke up in the middle of the night and told Raz got kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then ushered onto a fucking ship and, like, launched off of Odessa. So, like, Bobby waking up the next day with depression, like, fucking tracks.
Yeah,
so
it does.
It's hard to remember that all of this is happening in such a condensed time period.
It is.
So, eventually, as Bobby and Karina make their way out for like a lunch, as the pair takes their seats around the rectangle-shaped galley table, so I'll move you guys over here. It says, the familiar that always like accompanies Ares alerts you to his presence. And as you turn to look at the small floating circular robot, you see that a green digital smiley face is projected on his rim facing you. Soon following, you see the words, "Good morning, children," scroll by, followed by 2D representations of the pair of you sitting there eating breakfast. Casually, Laszlo sits cross-legged on the empty chair next to Karina, with his arms crossed. He's being patient, but whenever Karina looks at him, she notices that his one eye darts to the nearby cabinets of food. Ketch sits at attention on the ground next to the lower cabinets, staring directly at Karina. When she catches the fox's gaze, he gently wags his tail.
Karina's having oatmeal, and if they have any kind of like freeze dried banana, she'll throw that in there.
Okay.
Bobby's having 2 super runny fried eggs and some toast.
That sounds really good.
What do you think of Torn?
I don't know. He seems nice. It's a little awkward. I don't think he's been around kids much. Well,
Yeah, that's the impression.
teenagers now. I mean, we're not like he's acting like we're like 6-year-olds, which I don't really get, but that's okay. Maybe he just
I'm
needs.
gonna ask him to help me go to the bathroom next time I see him. Just to fuck with him. We'll see if he thinks that's out of character or not for our age.
He like pulls a diaper out.
Have you talked to him one-on-one? I haven't even really talked to him.
Yeah, I talked to him for a bit. He's pretty chill. I'm having a hard time remembering what we talked to. I feel like we kind of opened up a little bit. It was like a exchange of awkwardness.
Yeah.
A meeting of the unwelcoming, weird people. But I don't know. At first I had my reservations, but he seems nice, so...
Yeah, well, we don't want
I'm
another.
definitely not gonna stun baton the shit out of him like I did with Stanley.
We don't want another situation like that. I would say, if you can help it.
Bobby-
It caused a lot of problems last time.
Bobby's not the same guy that he was back on the Chronunculus.
He's not.
I don't know. Vastly trusts this guy, and I had no clue who Stanley was, and we were like fighting for our lives. So it's definitely a different situation.
It's fair, you know. We've all grown and learned, and yes, I feel like Vasily wouldn't send someone up here with us that couldn't be trusted. And I can show Bobby how to play the game on Ares.
Yeah, do that.
So I'll call Ares over and
He's like
pull it up. And I imagine there's more than just Snake on here.
What else is on there?
Maybe there's like
Space Pong.
Ooh, Tetris.
I was gonna say like
Yeah.
Pong, yeah, and
Pong and Tetris.
Tetris, and I was gonna say, you remember this might be too. I was trying to figure out how to describe like an 8-bit version of like that duck hunting game, like way more pared down, but just shooting things out of the sky.
But like
things that
holographically projected.
Yeah.
8-bit, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, Duck Hunt's 8-bit.
Oh, already? Yeah, I guess I meant like holographic, like very, very, very simple. Even more, because that's even a little bit too cartoony than what I'm like picturing.
Yeah, he can definitely project out like a holographic 8-bit like Duck Hunt style game where like
That's sick.
yeah, where you guys like can like point with your fingers and like shoot the ducks. And like while you're doing this, both Ketch and Laszlo are like completely blown away, like watching all of the ducks fly by. And but Laszlo at some point eventually like straight up like taps Karina on the shoulder and like just straight up like points to the cabinet like feed us.
Okay, I'll get him some food. I don't what are they called? The Smartimals? Can they just eat anything?
They just eat human food.
Okay. So I'll let him pick out what he wants, which I assume. What does he like? I mean, I've seen him snack on popcorn and stuff. I don't know what he would want for breakfast. Maybe like Reese's Puffs, like something like super sugary cereal.
Yeah, I mean, he'll take a bowl of Reese's Puffs.
What fucking good.
What do you give to Catch?
I'll just give him some more jerky, I guess, if he's like meat and maybe like an egg. I'll make an egg for Catch.
Yeah, he's good with that. So like as Karina's making the egg for Catch and Bobby's just like absolutely obliterating holographic ducks, Dash and Torn walk up from the lower decks, having finished their 2-hour exercise, both like just covered in sweat from like just like grinding. And they see that the kids are up and the Smartimals are out and Ares is there playing this video game with Bobby, and you don't see Ibiov anywhere.
I think as I'm walking up with Dash, I'm like asking her, like, oh, so you usually a morning person too?
Well, I just don't sleep, so I'm an all the time person.
Oof, I feel like that's probably something we need to take a look at, right? You need to be on the top of your game as a medic.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Maybe now that I'm not doing so much, I can get my sleep schedule back on track.
Oh wow, everyone's already here.
Oh.
Torn's a little bit high on exercise endorphins.
Oh yeah.
Dash sees Laszlo and like beelines for him. She's just like, "Oh, hey, cutie, who are you?" She like goes to reach for him and scratches him behind the ear.
And when she like says that and like scratches him behind the ears, he's like eating Reese Puffs. He just like kind of jerks and like slowly and like swats her hand away and like slowly turns around to like look at her. But like she came from the side where the patch is, so like he has to like turn his head like really, really, really far to like see who it is. And then when he sees her, he just kind of like looks back over at Karina and like gives Karina like just a furious look.
Oh, he's a little feisty. And then she keeps walking around behind him.
Yeah, he takes a minute to warm up to people. Don't take it personally. He still doesn't let Bobby touch him.
Laszlo?
And then Laszlo like slowly turns over to like look at Bobby and then like just gives him like a very friendly like, "What's up?" like nod.
You might have better luck with Catch.
She like looks over to the corner and she's like, "Oh, another one." And she walks towards Cash to say hi and make friends.
And
Torn kind of realizes that was the animal he was looking for the other day, and he's like, "Oh, that's the fox," and he kind of walks over.
so Catch is now surrounded by Catch and or by Dash and Torn, and like when he first saw Torn walking up, like he was like watching her interaction with Laszlo, he kind of like cautiously was like wagging his tail and like looking up at her with his like ears back on his head, like nervous. But then when like Torn came around the other side of the table to like essentially kind of block him in, like his hair raised a little bit up on like the back of his neck, and he kind of like looking between the two of you, like a little stressed out.
And Torn's just like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I recognize that feeling," and he just kind of like backs away.
Yeah, Dash backs off too.
And then he just kind of gently goes back to like finishing his breakfast.
Dash is gonna grab kind of like a breakfast bar and sit down at the end.
Yeah, Torn kind of looks at what his high protein options are. What is there like a replicator or something on this ship, or is it just like a standard kitchen?
It's pretty much a standard kitchen, but it's all like frozen meals and freeze dried stuff. And then you put it in a little machine to like make it edible.
Yeah, Torn actually goes for something that's like as close to an MRE as possible because he prefers field food to normal food.
Okay. And what did he go for?
Let's say he went for biscuits and gravy, which is essentially just like a paste with powdered bread in it.
Yeah.
But he's like happy as shit to eat that stuff.
Permanently damaged and can only eat MREs from now on.
So as you guys are all kind of just sitting there at the table eating, Ibiov walks out and like walks past the group and like nods at everybody and like, gives like a very like brief like curt wave, but like doesn't say anything, and then like goes around the corner and like heads down into the engine bay.
And Torn just kind of watches her walk by, like, interesting.
So, how'd y'all sleep?
Good. Thank you for the medication. I didn't have any nightmares last night.
Good. I'm glad that helped.
It's the first time in a very long time.
And Torn kind of like very quickly wolfs down his food and just kind of like sits back in the chair to show a relaxed posture as best as he can. And he goes, I haven't been around this many kids in my life, but I got to say, I'm sorry for being as awkward as I was the past 2 days.
You've never been around two teenagers at once?
Yeah, I mean, and he like puts his big hand like on his bald head and he just kind of rubs the back of his neck. He's like, yeah, last time I was around children was probably when I was your age, so.
I gotta say, I'm really glad that you're here now, Torn, because I really have to use the bathroom, and I could use you to help me do that.
Torn starts sweating immediately, and he just like looks at Dash, and he like looks at the kids, and he's like, "Is this for real?"
Bobby, give him your hand.
Get up and walk over to the bathroom and look at Torn with the diaper in his hand. Like, are you gonna help me?
You know, son, I think there's an age that we all have to make a decision on whether or not we enter bathrooms with children. And that answer for me is no.
But how old do you think I am? What if I still need...
You're at least 5.
Bobby's gonna throw the diaper at him and be like not throw it super hard, just like toss it at him and be like, all right, just checking that you know how old we actually are. You act like we're fucking toddlers or out of control kids or something.
I mean, to be fair, this is the first time I'm meeting you, but if Vasily put us on the same stage, he trusts you with extreme, he can't find the word.
Extreme.
He just kind of trails off.
Extremities.
He trusts you extremely, and that says to me that you are far more capable than I could possibly perceive you to be, and I would love to get to know your talents.
They're imperceivably skilled.
Normal way to avoid an awkward situation ever. Bobby's just gonna laugh really hard and like actually go to the bathroom without Torn.
Nice, he was telling the truth. He really did need to go to the bathroom.
And as soon as he exits, Torn just like grabs the greasy napkin that he was using to wipe his mouth, and he just like pats his sweating head.
Made it through. Made it through that one.
Oh my god.
Dash is just sitting there snickering. And y'all kids remind me of my brothers.
Do any of you have any siblings?
I mean, you watched me get adopted with the other 2 kids.
I mean, I guess that counts.
Torn, we just realized that Torn doesn't consider adoption to be legitimate siblings.
Tears in my eyes. Like you were there when it got announced. No other siblings besides those 2 boneheads.
Okay, fair enough.
Bobby's gonna open the bathroom door. Who are you calling a bonehead? Slam the door again.
Yes.
Wait, so he interrupted himself like he hadn't finished yet?
No, he finished.
No, Bobby was like in the bathroom and heard you talking and like opened the door.
And then went back into the bathroom?
No, like I didn't like come out. I just like peeked my head out and
Right.
enough to like yell at you and then like close the door.
To finish going to the bathroom.
No, she's saying that because like look how far the door is from the toilet. So like I'm imagining Bobby like pants around his ankles like hey.
I guess those are sinks. I thought those were like urinals or something. Like
Yeah,
close to the door.
Those are sinks, and then these are toilets, and then these are 2 showers.
I was picturing like a really shitty bar bathroom where the door is
It's like
right
next to it.
Yeah,
That's how I'll write it. That's how I'll write it. Is that like it's an individual personal bathroom, and he just like hit the button on the wall, like hey, like
yeah.
Yeah. So then,
Torn, do you have any siblings?
No, that's kind of why I was asking.
What?
What? No, I do not have any siblings. I'm always curious about the dynamics between brothers and sisters and any other gender that they may perceive themselves as.
Have you ever been around any people?
Wait. Is Torn a robot?
It's fair to say that I've dedicated most of my career to the mission, and that doesn't involve a lot of people when it's about dropping into planets and getting people safely off of them.
So do you just not rescue children?
There were never any children. I can say that with confidence.
So you don't socialize with them while you're rescuing them. It's kind of like a mission and a number.
I mean, typically as a pilot, I get told what to do and I move along just to make sure the mission gets done. But at no point does any of that involve socializing. So I apologize prodigiously for my awkwardness.
I'm just gonna look at Dash to see what she's making of this because
she's definitely cracking up. Like this is the most entertainment she's had in a while.
So like
my chief companions on most missions is usually the ship AI, which is why I took to Ares immediately.
And then
even though he's not an AI.
When Ares like hears his name, he like kind of spins towards Torn, and you see like a little smiley face appear on his little digital rim.
And you guys can perceptively see that Torn relaxes just having Ares around.
And then,
oh my god, that's so sad.
After scanning Torn's bios, like Ares recognizes that and then like hovers over just to like flutter next to him gently, like like a little therapy Roomba.
I'm gonna need Ares to play white noise in my room when I sleep.
He will. He happily will.
Dash, do you have any siblings? Or are we just talking the kids here?
Yeah, I've got two brothers back home on Dauphine. They're a couple years younger than me. I guess by now they're technically adults. I haven't seen them in a few years.
Huh. Do you plan on going back or?
Well, I'm gonna go take a shower.
Oh.
She probably gets up and leaves.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
All right, who's more awkward?
So as Dash like gets into the bathroom, Ibia walks upstairs, and again with like no doesn't say anything, just kind of like a little curt nod and like a wave. Walks past, like stands over Ketch and like reaches in to like pull out a bowl of just the blandest, just like cornflake, just the blandest cornflake cereal, and like fills it with water instead of milk.
This person is a sociopath.
Gets herself her little spoon, like kind of like walks a little bit past everybody, like stops, looks at you all just like staring at her, eats a spoonful of it, smiles, and then just like continues on like down the hallway back to her room.
Torn just kind of stands up and like looks down the hallway to see where Ibiov went.
He sees, like, as he gets up to like look, he sees her walk into her bedroom.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you like put out a bulletin for all of us to meet here this morning or this afternoon?
Yeah, that was the goal, but it seems like I need to have Ares do a little chime. Ares, can you get everyone here real quick?
Yeah, so like Ares just like digitally reads it, and then there's like a very robotic voice that comes across the entire ship that's like, "Crew, please gather in the galley." And it just kind of repeats itself for about 10 seconds, and then it stops.
And Torn kind of walks up to the bridge, like the entrance of the bridge, and kind of turns and stands, and you see him like pacing very calmly.
So when Ibiov comes back out, she's completely finished her bowl, and like she sets the empty bowl down on the table, and then like leans against the wall, the exterior wall outside of the medical bay.
Dash comes out. She has not showered. She hasn't even started. She is bone dry in the same clothes, still looking sweaty.
All right, Torn takes this opportunity to step forward and graciously apologize for the awkwardness of the morning. Thank you all for gathering. I apologize for my awkwardness this morning. I can say that it will take me time to get used to working with all of you, but I look forward to the challenge. Vesely has chosen us all to go on this mission because we need to rescue Bobby. And what's that?
Dude, look what Brian wrote.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You got to start.
Are you laughing?
You gotta start over.
God damn it! You know how hard it is to make an impromptu speech, Brian.
I'm so sorry. That was just so fucking fun.
Okay, I apologize for the awkwardness of this morning. I look forward to getting a chance to know each and every one of you in an extremely normal adult way and not any weird, creepy way. I will say that Vesely brought us all together for a reason, and that is because he knows we will succeed in our mission. We are out to find Raz. I have yet to really speak to this kid, but it seems like you all know him very well, and I'd love to get some idea of what you think we'll be walking into when we catch up to him.
I'm gonna like raise my hand awkwardly.
This isn't school, son.
Oh, I don't know if you're finished. I don't want to interrupt you. I mean, Karina can attest to this, but if Raz's dad is any bit of crazy as Raz is, then this is going to be a shit show, I think.
Does Raz have violent tendencies?
They're more than tendencies.
Mark.
You see Torn kind of like put his hands behind his back and he kind of like nods like knowingly. So do we know anything about his father?
Vasily told Torn that Raz's dad's name is Jem Garbumpulormataz. He has the title of corporate viscount for the PMAC world of Shord 4, which is called Alocin. Vasily's never met him, and until intelligence did background on the group of the kids when they first got to Odessa, they had never even heard Jim's name. Alocin is a small planet that orbits the gas giant. It's a PMAC world. It processes toxic Skrull vapor into megasurge light fuel. This fuel is one of the main components in spacefold travel. Raz's father is a business liaison between the PMAC, the local colonists, and the figurehead of the company Megasurge Starfuel, who sit on the board of planetary leadership. The man is stubborn, single-minded, and hyperfixates on his own power over colony wellness.
Damn, bro.
Also, Raz told us that his dad made him fight his brother, and he made him kill his brother, and then Raz thought he killed his dad. Apparently he didn't succeed because he's kidnapped him, so...
Yeah, Torn kind of looks gravely at the two of them because it's adding up to the same picture that he got from Vasily.
Yeah, I mean, if Raz knows he's alive, he's not going to be very happy. He was pretty sure he killed him. We stabbed him while he was sleeping, I think. That's what he told us.
Well, let's do our best to liberate him. We'll be entering, I'm sure, into some PMAC space quite soon to catch up to them, which means that we are offsides. So I really want us to be careful about the parameters of this mission. We have to be very delicate in how we approach first finding where Raz is and extracting him. I assume this mission will actually somehow meet us with violence, but it sounds like you all are quite skilled in this. Do either of you have specialties in combat?
Karina's badass. She had like this cool mech suit she was flying around in the last time we got into some trouble.
You both have one now. There's one in each of your bedrooms.
Yeah, it's like a flight suit, but it's all is just mine sticky, or is his sticky too?
No, it's the flights
It's the suit.
It's the Halo jumpsuit is the one that's sticky. Then there's
Oh.
also the suit of armor.
What do you mean?
Oh, that's right.
What does sticky mean?
So Alexei gave her a birthday present that's like a fucking like wingsuit basically that she can use to like do like low orbit Halo jumps with, and the hands and the feet are like magnetically locked, like basically she can like stick to stuff like Spider-Man when she's wearing it.
Okay, but that's separate from the golden armor suit. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, but it's
So
thin
we
enough,
had-
it's thin enough that you could wear it underneath the golden armor suit.
Okay. Well, we've both been trained in close combat.
Excellent. Any long range skills?
I know my way around a gun.
Excellent. Have you ever been in a tactical deployment before? He kind of looks to Dash too.
No. She's going to say no, like super firmly, and then look at Bobby to make sure that he caught on too.
That's good.
First time I fucking died.
And Dash is going to give a smart ass response. I was in the military, wasn't I?
We're starting off on the right foot. Well, I'm glad to know that we have a capable team of people. Let's see how quickly we can get Raz back, because it sounds like he's in very dangerous hands, and he would be much better served with you at his side.
And Ibiob steps forward and she's like, Captain, I would like to make it clear now that I am not a field agent. I will not be joining anyone in the field at all. I will be staying on the ship to guard it and protect it from any kind of incursions.
Torn kind of like looks left and right real quick, like in his head he's going like duh, but then he looks to her and he says with utter confidence, he's like, we would love nothing more than that. Thank you.
And she just kind of nods and then like leans back up against the wall.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to belabor this. It got away from me. I gotta say, seeing diapers in a teenager's hand, it doesn't do well for my mental psyche. I've overcome that now, and I would like to say, feel free to be dismissed. We'll be updating you on mission parameters as soon as we have them.
Okay.
And then Torn just kind of walks into the bridge.
Okay.
He's gonna just walk off. All right.
Dash follows Torn.
Hey, I thought you were gonna take a shower. Dash, if we're going to start off on the right foot, you must know that hygiene is of utmost importance to me.
Commander. Who are these children?
You
Those
know,
were not typical responses of a child.
I mean,
This kid that we're going to save, he stabbed his dad in his sleep.
I think it's safe to say that we're not dealing with normal children. I don't think we can call them children. I guess I'll just start calling them teenagers. And then he just kind of looks to make sure that no one's listening to them outside the bridge. Is Ares with them? Does Ares just follow him, or what's going on there?
Basically, like, after Torn and Dash walk into the bridge, Ares hovers up back in front of Karina and Bobby and produces a side-scrolling message across his rimmed face of, daily education begins in 30 minutes in the conference room. Be there or be square. So then he flutters off towards the conference room.
Ares is so cute.
Yeah.
Dash is just kind of pointing out all the messed up stuff that they've been saying that is not typical of teenage children.
Yeah, Torn kind of has this grave look on his face, and he kind of like stares off towards the let's say the electronics of the ship, because he just feels good watching the stars fly by, and he kind of pauses for a moment, and then he goes, I don't think Lord Vasily would have put us on a mission that would have created liability. It sounds to me that these kids have seen an extreme amount of combat, extreme amount of violence that makes them extremely well adapted towards solving the problems of this mission. I can't imagine us as adults showing up and trying to kidnap this kid would go very well. But if his brother and sister are there with him, I think that gives us better options, better opportunities. In my opinion, I don't think these children are normal. I don't think they come from a similar background to anyone who is a colonist or planet-side child.
Well, whatever they are, we need to help protect them. They're just children.
Of this, we are completely agreed. I will do everything in my power to make sure that these children come home safe.
Good.
And I'm glad that you're here with me.
And then she turns and walks out, and this time she goes to actually take a shower.
Okay, cool. And while Torn is now alone in the bridge, what's he thinking and or doing here?
Yeah, he's actually kind of stoked. He actually feels pretty great about the kind of responses, the fact that there's a give and take, the fact that they are challenging a little bit of what he says, but also making fun of him is actually a really good sign to him in terms of building morale. So he's feeling good about his interactions with them, because the awkwardness actually will galvanize itself, he thinks, in their first mission. He's actually more worried about Raz's father now that he's gotten the same sort of feedback from everyone else who has heard at least something about this guy. He sounds like he's someone who's willing to put children in extreme risk at the level of, I guess, pure insanity, sociopathy, and he's never dealt with that in a command situation before. So he's kind of more worried about what that encounter will be like. And then he kind of like stands up and like flexes himself a little bit, because remember, he's fucking huge.
Yeah.
He just kind of like flexes himself and then realizes that he's like, but no matter what, he's prepared for this challenge.
Hell yeah, dude. After Commander Torn has been in the bridge for a little while, like after Dash finishes her shower, Torn heads out of the bridge as well to go take care of his shower as well, because he hasn't. And like as he walks out, he sees both Ketch and Leslo like step out into the hallway. and essentially like block his path, and they're both just staring at him.
Torn, I mean, he doesn't actually stop walking. He keeps going, and kind of, the intent of the path is like to like pass them by. But as he sees them walking to his path, he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, we got off to the wrong foot." And he kind of leans down and extends his hand to be like, "I'm Torn."
And like they both kind of like sniff his hand, and they look at each other, and then like Laszlo shakes his head no, and then Ketch looks from Laszlo up into Torn's face, and then like puts his paw into Torn's hand.
Ah, you're a sweet animal, aren't you?
And then he like rubs on Torn's leg and like walks past him, and then like Laszlo kind of like what, like looking between Ketch and Torn, and then like kind of just like looks at Torn and then like walks between his legs past him, like to follow after Ketch.
And then he kind of looks back and he kind of like leans in. He kind of like watches Laszlo and understands his disdain, because what is it? Would you call them? Intella animals or whatever?
Smartimals.
Because he knows that they can understand human emotion very well, and he just kind of says to them like solemnly but with like deep conviction, "Don't worry, we'll bring them back safe."
And then he heads into the showers. So for the kids being down here doing their schooling with Ares, it says 5 days a week while traveling, the kids spend 6 hours a day learning from selected educational lectures projected by Ares. The curriculum consists of algebra, language, biology, and both USAW and PMAC history. Occasionally, the pair will be provided a speech on a random topic like how to define humanity's impact on planetary environments, explaining how industrialization leads to new economic theories and political interest control, or assessing how war production can help to expand the USAW's reach of freedom. Each of the children has an elective, which lasts for the last hour of their schooling. Bobby spends that time studying with Dash, typically writing lab reports, reading microscopic slides, and conducting experiments. What does Karina spend her elective hours studying?
She'll be studying various different like historical political parties of like ancient societies, and then like work her way through like modern, pre-modern, I guess, like our time, 2020s, and then like her current time. So she's just going through that.
Okay. Moving forward 2 days to December 28th, at 3:34 p.m. Galactic Standard Time, an alarm rings out on the bridge to alert Commander Torn. Having already been sitting in the room examining shield diagnostic levels, all the man had to deal was spin in his seat to see an image of the exterior scanners of an approaching signature. The shape is small, roughly 7 feet long and 3 feet wide. It's shaped like an oval and is moving at only 360,000 miles per hour. It's too far away for you to see through the front windshield, and the exterior cameras are unable to produce an image.
Torn kind of he kind of goes into pilot mode, and he takes a look at he starts running diagnostics on how long he thinks the ship will take to get to it, and then asks the ship computer to give him projected paths for interception.
All right, go ahead and roll a CommTech. All right. It takes a few moments for the ship's long-range sensors to compute the commander's request, as he sits there watching the blank screen, blinking with 3 little dots. Soon, a list of like trajectory paths not only appear like heading towards the ship in a way that you could definitely like sort of collect it, but you also see details appear that read that the object is an escape pod with the same ship code as the one you're tracking that took Roz. And it appears that this object is heading back the way you came from Odessa.
Oh, so it's actually going counter our path right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof, this is a wrinkle. Okay, so Torn makes a quick assessment, and he makes sure that there's no weapons on board, that the ship can detect from external.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a CommTech roll.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
you know what? Can I add? Is there actually a life form on this? Can we determine that from the externally or no?
There are no life forms on the escape pod. In the escape pod.
Okay. I guess my third stunt is actually just picking the quickest trajectory to acquire it.
Okay. So yeah, as you type that into the computer, the automated pilot takes over, and like you feel the ship like shudder, and then like realign itself onto this new trajectory path.
Perfect. So he opens comms, and he speaks quickly but frankly. We have acquired a target that is associated with the vessel that we were seeking. We will be intercepting it in 17 minutes. Prepare for diagnostic arrival in the, I guess, engineering bay, or what do we call that?
The cargo bay.
Yeah. Prepare for diagnostics in the cargo bay immediately. I will meet you all down there shortly.
All right.
And then
Sorry, what?
So Torn finds his way down to the cargo bay. He picks up Ebiov on the way, unless you have other plans for that.
No.
And they find themselves standing at the door, armed, just in case there's some fucking trickery afoot. And he suggests that. Well, let's start with those two. Are the kids here yet, or are we?
I don't know.
Okay.
What does Dash and the kids do when they hear that from Torn?
Dash immediately reports down. Commander, what's going on?
Yeah, so it looks like there's an escape pod with the vessel that we were seeking. It is actually on its path back to Odessa. We have to understand why it left the ship. Apparently, the ship claims that there are no life forms aboard, which means that any data that we're going to get from this is probably going to come from the software forensics. So let's prepare ourselves to make sure that we are prepared for every eventuality here. I don't foresee that there's a biological contagion associated with this. On some previous missions, that has been the case, but it seems like this ship, I trust the ship's assessment that there is no biological life form on this craft, but I would like to make sure that we have any contingencies that you would like to account for, Medic Dash, to understand whether or not this is a threat to us and the children.
Well, scans are pretty good, and if nothing came up on them, then I'm pretty confident that there's nothing going on with these.
So barring any biological life form, that does not exclude the idea of robotic life form. PMAC is well-versed in AI, so I want to make sure that we are armed to the teeth when this thing arrives, just in case. So please pick your weapon of choice from the weapon storage container.
Ibiov is like, Captain, I'm going to go lock myself in the engine room. Thank you.
Yeah, Karina's gonna stand like at the top of the stairs, but she's not coming all the way down. She has been here before.
Then Dash stands back by the cargo pods and grabs a metal pipe.
And then Torn kind of openly summons Ares.
Okay. Ares comes fluttering down like.
Ares, what containment procedures does the ship have?
You see like a projected list appear, and there's like fire suppressant. You can vent the oxygen. And there is a auxiliary power, and then there's just the regular like weapon systems.
And what about the storage bay? Can we vent to vacuum?
He says there's like a check, like a green check, but then there's like a cartoon image that appears like what you would picture on like an airplane's like, is, you know, like a if all goes wrong, like paperback thing that you find in a seat in front of you that's like a little cartoon like that, but it shows you like running out of the cargo bay, like to not be in the cargo bay when you do that.
Okay. And did that room that Eviov just run to, is that vacuum sealed?
It can be, yes.
Okay. Okay. So you know what I'm gonna do instead? Now that I know that the layout of the ship and understand where things are going, is there so the room that Eviov is in is visible to the storage bay?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other vision into the storage room? Like, let's say everyone was just huddled around Ares. Could they see into the storage room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, cool. okay, now that Torn understands the lay of the land and what the ship's capabilities are, he recommends that everyone follow Ares to the galley, who will be projecting an image of what we actually receive when we catch up to this eject pod. And then Torn follows them as well. He is actually still armed, but he's going to the galley to do the basic assessment. He's got the XR3 automatic assault rifle.
Okay. And Brian, what were you about to say?
I was just gonna ask, like, so Karina didn't come downstairs, but Dash was down there, right?
Yeah.
And then Torn came back up.
Yeah, he brought everyone back up once he knew what the ship's capabilities were. Because remember, he hasn't even been more than 24 hours yet.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was gonna like nudge Karina and be like, "Come on, let's go downstairs," and then like I'm gonna
got it.
Kind of like go down there.
So Bobby was down there that whole time.
Well, yeah, but Torn cautions against that. Let's say when Bobby was doing that, he's like, "I know you guys have been through some stuff. Same. I think we should play this with kid gloves until we know what we're dealing with."
So once everybody gets back upstairs, basically, Ares projects the like security feed footage of the cargo bay downstairs, and you see that like the exterior bulkhead doors open up, and these two robotic like extension arms reach out and grab a hold of the pod, and they pull it in, and then the doors close and reseal, and like air repumps back into the room, and they bring the pod sort of out into the center bay, just these like long like factory type extendable arms, and you can see that the whole top of the pod is clear glass and that there's nobody inside. And you see that the pod is essentially like 7 feet long, shaped like a sort of like a silver pill. The whole entire top of it is like just a clear glass covering. The inside is like a padded, like white, cushiony, like leaning seat that's like almost a bed, but it's tilted enough that there's like a seat. There's white plastic on the inside. There's like a whole like front paneling that's like white plastic, and that's really all you can see. It's like it just seems like an empty pod from a distance.
All right, so Torn kind of puts his hands. He kind of leans in to Ares. Like, let's say Ares is floating over the table, right? He kind of like leans in and like really takes stock of what he's seeing, and he asks Medic Dash. He's like, "Do we have the ability to tell if there's any contagions in something like this?"
I mean, we can run a computer scan and see what it picks up.
And she does have hazmat suits.
Yeah. All right. So let's run a scan for contagion, and then anyone who has a medic skill, give her a +1, please.
It would definitely be a comtech to like run a scan
like this. I'll do it. Does anyone have a comtech higher than 2?
No.
Okay, cool.
I do not.
Does anyone have a comtech?
I do.
Okay. So I'll do a contact roll for the scan, and I just kind of lean over to Karina. I'm like, can you help me scan this? And then I roll a contact +1 with Karina's help. Well, if she agrees.
Yes, of course.
The ship does like a full scan of the cargo bay and everything in it, and after a couple, like maybe 2-3 minutes, it comes back with just like 0.0 on like everything.
Wow. Okay, so Torn, now knowing that there's no contagions, there's no immediate threat, he kind of relaxes a little bit and he stands up and he just asks the room, "Any theories?"
I don't know, boss. I say we go open it.
Knowing Raz,
We should look for paint.
Well, yeah, but I was also going to say he probably tried to get out and somehow managed to launch a pod without himself in it.
That does not bode well. Okay. Unless there's any other concerns, thoughts, or questions, I'd say let's go see what we can learn about this. And then Torn kind of stands at the edge of the stairs and then just confirms whether or not everyone is on board with that.
Seems safe enough.
And for safety's sake, just in case this isn't what it perceives to be, someone should stay at the top of the stairs. And he just kind of like leaves that to the team to judge who that would be. I heard you, Karina and Bobby, you have armor. I would recommend getting into that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then I point Bobby to the weapons cache, which is basically infinite. And just so you guys know, this is the first time in the history of playing with Drew that this has ever happened. So this is a really big fucking deal.
What?
He's
Wait,
not
what?
lying.
Basically,
He's not lying.
the weapons crate has every single weapon available in the entire game. Yeah, I mean, it just speaks to Vesely's power, just the fact that he just has it all. But yeah, I'm just kind of saying, just for the gaming team, like, holy shit, like, unheard of. So
Yeah, I'm like ogling a couple of things right now. Can I do we buy these because they have a cost
they're
on them,
fucking
or they're
free,
just
buddy.
yeah, it's all free.
got it?
You just fucking say, I want this.
Well, Bobby just put some points in range, so I'm gonna grab that automatic rifle with the incinerator unit on it.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Seeing Bobby grab that, I will creep down the stairs, also grab one, and then go back up to the top of the stairs.
What do Torn and Dash do when they see Karina and Bobby walk down the stairs wearing these fucking suits of armor?
I think like Torn, for Torn, it was kind of validation that these kids really are special, and they exist in a place outside of anything he's ever seen before, and he should treat them with deep respect. He just kind of nods, like sagely, like, "Yep, I fucking knew it."
And what about Dash?
Dash tries to catch Torn's eye and gives him one of those looks of like, what the fuck? They are
To
not
him-
normal.
And then he just kind of like looks back at her and he's like, "Yeah, you were right too."
And how does Bobby feel finally in this fucking
Yeah, dude.
just absolute fucking unit?
You're God mode right now.
It's a little snug on my throat.
Immediately.
That throat's not getting an accidental life save roll anytime soon in that thing.
Yeah, maybe finally. Third time's the charm.
So the armor actually has these like cables that plugs into the voice box, and the armor has a speaker system that can like magnify Bobby's voice to like a ridiculously loud extent, like almost like a little, like a just like crazy loud.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm not near the voice generator tonight, but some other night we gotta do something with that.
For sure.
once the kids have the weapons, Torn kind of like looks at them and he tries to see how much combat shorthand they have, and he kind of like looks at them both to make sure that they're okay. He gives them this knowing look, like, "Are you good? Give me a green, give me a check or a thumbs up."
Yeah.
Okay, so both of them react the same way, and then he just kind of speaks, "Go into Overwatch," and then he steps forward to open the pod.
All right.
All right, so go on Overwatch.
So he
Yeah.
presses the button, and Torn presses the button, and like the glass top like pops open, and like compressed air just like spills out of the side, and like the top lifts up gently, up maybe like 12 inches. And as Torn reaches to pull it, he sees immediately that like on the inside of the pod, like written in what appears to be like magenta glowing neon, is like a little cartoon drawing of a boy with one arm and glasses, and it says "Help" next to it.
Once is Ares around?
Yeah, he's floating there.
All right, so he has Ares project the image openly to the room so that no one else has to get close to it.
Okay, and everybody sees that image of a cartoon Roz with the word "Help" next to it.
Does this mean anything to you? And then he's asking openly to the room, mostly projected to Karina and Bobby.
Yeah, that's Raz.
Does this look like his writing?
Yep.
Can you tell from this whether or not he's distressed?
I mean, he wrote help, so.
And you can see the Torn's military shit just kicking into high gear. Okay, let's see what else we can learn about this escape pod while we can. Can we have Ares do a scan?
Yeah.
Contact?
Yeah, what are you looking for?
Well, first, does the escape pod have a history? Can we tell what was happening around the escape pod when it was released? Yeah, basically, like, was it connected to the security system? And in that situation, do we get to know anything that happened before it was launched?
All right, go ahead, roll for it. All right, so after you do that, a holographic projection appears, and this is basically what you see.
And he's gonna try to escape. he's gonna hop down.
All right, so hopping into that room, roll a mobility real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna use that extra mobility that I got to add +1 to my mobility.
Okay.
Well, this is not a great night for me in panic rolls.
Alright.
That's a 1.
You keep it together, but like as you hop down and like you're kind of like looking around this escape pod, you hear the door pop open, and it gives you just enough time to like kind of skitter around and hide. But you see Lagusa like walk in, and he walks over and he looks at one of the pods, and like kind of does like a diagnostics check on him. And then he walks over and he looks at the second pod, does a diagnostic check. And then he continues it for all of the remaining pods and kind of looks around the room and then just like turns and walks out. And then as you go up to the to look at the diagnostic thing, you see that it is just open, like anybody could use it, like if you wanted.
Well then, I want to use Comtech to disable a couple.
Okay. After that, he basically just he disables a couple of them, and then he draws that image in one of them and launches it back out towards Odessa. And that's when the security feed stops, because all of a sudden it just becomes like stars, and then it like breaks into static.
Super fucking cool. All right, with this new knowledge, Torn just kind of like nods with like a little bit of a smile on his face. He's like, this kid's industrious. So what I would say is, if there's any artifacts you would want from this, let's strip them out of the pod now. Otherwise, I think we have all the information we can gain from this, and it's time to go get your friend back. No, and then he corrects himself. Your brother.
Is there anything in it? Like,
No, it's empty.
yeah, okay.
Those machine arms, like Torn like taps into a thing, and the machine arms pick it up and move it over and like put it in this like little wedge. So you guys now have an extra escape pod.
Okay, so I'm heading back to the bridge. It's safe to stand down now. I'm going to set a trajectory to catch up with this ship. Hopefully, it is not planet side by the time we catch up to it.
Bobby and Karina, like, you guys are standing there in your fucking yoked out armor. You just watched this video with Raz.
Well, it's basically what Karina thought had happened, though I guess he didn't try to, like, he didn't get caught. I guess he launched it on purpose. I don't know. She's not surprised because she knows that Raz, like, is constantly acting like a mouse trapped in a corner trying to get out, like, in every situation he's ever been in. So she's not surprised that he was messing around with the people on that ship. She hopes that this didn't get him into too much trouble with them. She's kind of worried about him making it all the way to that planet without getting, like, hurt really bad, because she knows that he is kind of reckless when he feels like he's in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that he was really industrious to launch the pod for us to find. I mean, it's not super helpful, I guess, but at least now we know we're, like, getting closer.
Yeah.
Well, we know he's on the ship now, I guess. Like, for sure that we have the right ship.
So over the next 37 days, what does Dash's normal day on the ship look like?
So Dash is going a little bit stir crazy just because she's been used to so much action and just constant movement, that now being on this ship with not a whole lot to do, she just cycles between, you know, the med bay and cleaning up and doing research there in the gym, and then teaching Bobby and kind of mentoring him. She doesn't spend a whole lot of time in her room. She doesn't really want to be in there. And she's also kind of been more standoffish with the kids since, you know, that first triggering event of them being something, you know, a little bit more violent. She's been keeping her distance and just strictly Bobby, this is what I'm teaching you, not really trying to further that relationship.
Okay. So working with Bobby, like, what did Dash learn in her time, like, studying his voice box and, like, teaching him more about it?
So she dedicated a lot of time into researching that and pulling up plans that she was able to get from the database that's connected to his records. And she actually she found like what actually it is that's inside his throat. So she's kind of excited about this, just to find out more about what he's got in him. And this is kind of like the first time that she's interacting with him in more than just that mentorship way. She says, Bobby, come here and look at this. So this, and she pulls up this blueprint, and she says,
this was drawn by Danielle, everybody.
This is incredible.
Right?
Thanks. I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah,
says,
that's
Bobby,
really
look, this is what's in your throat. And she says, and it's ingenious. They didn't just replace your voice box, they replaced that top part of your trachea too. That way you can still, do things like breathe. And then she goes into more detail about how the inner structure is made up of this soft, pliable silicone, and then it's got these harder rings of silicone on the outside to give it some stability. And then this band in the middle is actually made up of like wires and electrodes. And the diamond thing that you can see on the outside of Bobby's throat is kind of like where the computer chip is held. And so what it does is it compresses and releases on that softer silicone to mimic the vocal folds opening and closing. And then it also sends vibrations up to actually create the sound. And so it's got this port on the side that can hook up to a computer, and that's how he's able to download these voice modulators into it. And it's got like a button in the center of how he's able to control it manually.
That's so fucking cool. She came up with
This
all
is
that.
10 out of 10. So
right.
cool.
Right?
Like, I can see that actually being a thing. Like, I saw that and immediately was like, oh my god, is this thing like picking up vibrations from my throat?
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Fucking amazing.
And
All around great.
She's super excited about this part. She's like, Bobby, we might be able to control this thing with your sliver. Think of all the voices that you could download and program into this thing.
Oh my god. That's so cool. I gotta figure out like when the voices are appropriate, and now that I have my own voice back, But I like playing around with the voices, so the fact that I could get more is even better.
She's super jazzed about this.
Hell yeah. Now Bobby actually knows like what's in his throat. Like he actually understands it, knows what it is.
Dash is basically like the cream of the crop about regarding medical study and just the profession itself. So like it's pretty crazy to think that Bobby, who's kind of a noob, is like learning from her. So like I want to know like if Bobby is doing well, or like if there are things that like Bobby is struggling on, because I feel like Bobby has the potential to like be a good listener, but gets distracted easily and still likes goofing off,
He's picking up some things, but Dash probably does have a tendency to kind of lecture and just not pay a whole lot of attention to him. So she might not pick up exactly when he's paying attention and when he's not, but she does notice he is struggling with anatomy and just remembering what everything is.
Okay, cool.
He's probably doing pretty good at the basic wound care just because it's a little bit more interactive, because they're doing more practical applications.
Right. All right. So you had asked how I was spending my day aside from learning and whatnot?
Yeah, like after school.
It's not been long since like I faced death again, so I would say Bobby needs to be like on top of his fitness routine right now, trying to get back into the swing of things, because I mean, I'm sure he wasn't down for that long, but like he was probably out of it for a bit after everything went down on the night of 1,000 smashes. So
He was out for 3 months.
okay, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like he needs to get back into shape and get ready for like the next job, you know. So definitely working out. I've been curious about this Aries thing. Like, definitely wanted to spend more time with Aries. Like, Bobby's not super technically sound, but like likes to spend time around Aries to feel like he is. Everything's so simple to use. It feels like you're doing really cool technical
It's
stuff.
like a toy.
Yeah.
So what special stuff does he find on Aries?
I think Bobby probably isn't super used to using like this high complexity of like a computer system, you know, like just simple things like even interacting with Aries are probably pretty special for Bobby, you know.
Yeah.
So like that's why he was super excited about hearing about Snake and all the time that Karina was spending like just hanging around playing games and whatnot. So
Every time that like Bobby and Aries are together just hanging out and Bobby like makes a joke to himself, like Aries puts up like a little happy like a laughing face with like the like ha 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 like following behind it like on the
oh yeah.
the little scrolling rim.
Yeah, Bobby would be super into that, thinking like it's super special, even though it's like just basic shit in that day and age, probably.
Aries is Aries is standard to all of the Odessa warships. So then what does Torn's normal day on the ship look like?
His normal day is always revolving around rigor and routine. So, you know, he wakes up, he works out every single day without fail. He does check-in diagnostic checks with the ship, and then there's like a massive block of time in the middle of the day where he doesn't do much, and so he starts forming plans and he starts having ideas about how to keep the crew engaged, how to keep them away from the monotony. He's been on enough missions, enough ships to know how stagnation breeds contempt and how it can cause weird frictions between people. So he starts proposing that they start playing games, and so he kind of forms the idea to sort of do like let's just call it space dodgeball. And in a way, he's trying to form the opportunity for the kids to stay spry, active, engaged, but also challenge their physical skills as well as their sharpshooting skills. And he develops a game based around that with the help of Aries over the course of that month plus that they are waiting to catch up to the ship. And he tries to enlist the aid of Dash to help sort of guide this, but also make it productive and sort of get everyone out of their funk, because he knows what long-term space travel is like. He knows it can eat away at you if you don't stay active. Let's say like day 2 or 3, as the monotony starts setting in, he keeps seeing her in the mornings working out, right? And then at the end of one of the sessions, one day he approaches her. He's like, "Hey, I'm starting to form this idea that it might be helpful for us to create some sort of physically engaging game that challenges not only our bodies, but also our minds to keep us sharp by the time we catch up to Roz. I'm not sure what we're going to see when we catch up to them, but it sounds like his father is a loose cannon, and it sounds like the people he's with are going to be a challenge, to say the least." What do you think about that?
Yeah, we can definitely do something to help these kids out, stay active, stay sharp. What if we program Aries and, I don't know, use like a stun baton, and Aries can like shoot a little beam of light, and they can use a stun baton to like kind of direct it back at Aries.
Oh, you want to actually craft the game? Yeah, let's do something like that. I want to make sure that Aries is deeply protected, and that whatever. Oh, you know what?
Protect Aries at all costs.
Let's figure this out. All right. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna augment. We're gonna have some kind of rifle that shoots lasers, just like laser tag. Oh, here we go. So I asked Dash. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. How about we present rifles to everyone for this game in a little bit of a ceremony to kick it off?
I mean, if you think that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say Torn for the next, several days is working with Ares and Dash in secret to create their first ceremonial guns for this game that they're trying to form.
Very cool. What's the name of the game?
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to leave that to the team once we actually present it.
Okay. Cool. So then my next question is, how is Torn adjusting to going from being around 0 children to 2 moody teenagers? And I don't mean that in a negative way, but they are moody teenagers. So, like Bobby has depression, Karina has nightmares. So if you guys are on the ship together for 37 days, there's going to be days where they're doing better and some days they're not going to be doing so good.
I think Torn identifies the basics of PTSD, and he's seen a lot of his friends go through it, and he's experienced some of that on his own. Maybe he starts having little chats, like side chats with them about what their experience is like, and to try and help give them coping mechanisms. And maybe he does this with Dash's knowledge, but in a way, I think he's really just trying to commiserate and help build friendship between them, because he knows, they're about to get into some serious shit. And just knowing that he's on the same side as them is very important to him.
Okay, very cool. So after daily educational studies with Ares, what does Karina's normal day look like?
She's walking around the ship, like, trying to put on her best, like, diplomatic airs, I guess. Like, she's trying to practice for eventually down the line. She knows that they've been derailed with this saving Raz thing. But, like, she's taking her duties, like, really seriously as, like, the liaison that she knows that her and Bobby are going to have to do. And so she's like kind of trying to get to know Dash and Torn better, but like she has a shield up, but she's trying to get it so that like maybe get them to like her and like try to practice how to like be diplomatic and like practice her communication skills. She's finding it difficult with Dash because Dash also has a wall up, so I think she's targeting. See, that's such a nasty word, but like she's going after Torn a little bit more because she can see that he has opened up more. So she's kind of she's not trying to manipulate him in any way. She's just trying to come across as like, because she realizes that he kind of sees more than he lets on. So she's kind of trying to like backtrack and be like, I'm a princess and I'm not special, and B, like practice her skills in diplomacy and communicating. And she knows she can't really do that with Bobby because Bobby knows who she is. So
yeah.
It's kind of hard. And Dash does not seem to want to have much to do with her. So she's kind of maybe following Torn around to the point where he maybe has said something like stop, but not following him around like every single minute of every day. But if she's like,
roll an observation. So while Karina was like kind of like creeping on Torn, she did realize that like Torn and Dash seemed to be working on some kind of secret project.
Okay.
But she doesn't know what. She has no idea that if it's a game or anything. She just knows that like they're kind of creeping off, working on something like together without anybody else.
Cool. I got an idea there.
So I guess she's also trying to like keep her secretly keep her like assassin-y skills honed of like trying to pay attention. Like she doesn't have much to do. So she's just kind of like, okay, let me just play this like sneak around, be a diplomat.
Does she inform Bobby about this like secret thing that they're working on, or does she keep it to herself?
She knows that Bobby spends a lot of time with Dash, so she will probably ask him if he's noticed them like being weird or like trying to like keep something a secret.
I mean, all the time that I spend with her is like learning over voice editions, and yeah.
She seemed like standoffish to you.
Why do you think it's weird?
I don't know. They just seem like they're up to something. Sneaking around, waiting for them to leave the room before they'll talk.
I mean, don't we do the same thing? Like, we share more information between the two of us than we do with them about some things. You and I know Raz more than they do, and they may know more about the mission than we do. to me, it's just kind of how it is. But I'll keep an eye out if it gets like sketchy.
Okay. I mean, I don't think they're like a threat. I just think it's weird that we're all on a ship together and they're doing something secretive, but I guess that's fine.
Should we ask?
I think you should ask.
So let's just say, you know, Torn as an adult male can identify when someone has a crush on him. And so when he sees Karina in his orbit constantly, he picks up on that vibe immediately. And after you know, several weeks of experiencing this like ghostly travel, instead of making it weird for her, he just kind of like brings her into the fold, and he's like, hey, so I'm working on this thing, and I think you might be the perfect person to help sort out these final details. When was the last time, I mean, knowing that you played games with Ares, we're actually trying to create a game, Veronica and I would love your input on that.
You're trying to create a game?
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of Dodgeball, or if you've seen that awesome movie that was released on some space-time. I don't know if 1977 exists in this world, but it definitely exists in Commander Torrent's world. We're creating a game based around Ares that I think you might just be the right person to program the final step here. It's a game that involves wit and strategy. It involves trying to outsmart a really smart robot, and I think we have the right person to help figure that out. You think you'd be interested in helping us out with that?
She is like super suspicious because she thought that they were doing something sneaky, and for him to tell her that it's just a game, she's like, is it just the two of them that are having this conversation, or is Bobby there too?
I mean, I approached you when you were, you know, stalking
following him around.
Such a crush, yeah.
Yeah. She'll agree to help.
All right, cool. So let's say we bring Karina into the fold. Let's say this is actually a phased sort of ceremony approach. So the first time when Karina agrees, I asked Dash if it's okay to bring her into it.
I thought this was like, I'm so confused. I thought this was like intended to be like.
Wasn't this supposed to be like a surprise for them?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's clearly extremely smart, and so I think it's best that we serve her intellect in a way that helps the game rather than hide it from her until, you know, let's say, I don't know, I'm not a game programmer. I might make a fucking terrible game, and he just kind of starts mumbling.
I mean, if we want to make it like a surprise for Bobby,
yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. Like you were smart enough to see, basically, like Bobby didn't make the choice to do like spy espionage the whole time. You did. Yeah. Thorne completely misinterpreted that. He thought you just had a crush on him. So instead of him being like a weirdo, he was like, you know what? Let's just tell her. Yeah, so,
right.
I think it's great. I can't wait to see everybody present this game to Bobby.
Yeah, so and let's say we get Ibiov to be like, because let's say it's only a 2-man team, and Ibiov she's been willingly playing her milk toast version of this game with us as we figure out the details.
So walk me through this game.
Okay. It starts like this. Ares pops into the center of the field. We all have light rifles on either side. The goal is to capture Ares, but he also, there's 2 phases to the game. The goal is to try and either take him out or touch him with, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, because that's what the lightsaber kind of aspect to it. Let's see, can you say that we factioned, we actually created some form of lightsaber?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like
all right, cool.
Just like a holographic, just a holographic image, like a.
Perfect. Yeah. So let's say there's 2 formats to the game. Just so you know, the goal of the game is to test strategy. It's to test physical fortitude and speed, and it's also to test marksmanship. So the game is built around all of those key factors, right? So when Ares pops into the field, let's say there's a dice roll that he kind of rolls, and everyone has to sort of stand around him because you don't know whether or not it's going to be a ranged combat mission, a strategy mission, or a let's capture the flag mission. So as the dice rolls, Eventually, let's say it like lands on one. For this sake, we'll say capture the flag. Once it says capture the flag, everyone has to try and capture Ares as quickly as possible. He's going to move to a location in the cargo bay that's hard to access, which is going to challenge our physical ability to be able to catch up to him. And he will move positions let's say every few moments. And if we can't catch him by that point, if we can't catch him by let's say the third or fourth round, he switches into a different mode, and we still don't know what mode it's going to be each time. But each mode has a different directive. Each mode has a different requirement. Sometimes it's just being able to shoot him as quickly as possible. Sometimes it's being able to touch him, and sometimes it's being able to bring him back to your base.
All right.
How about that?
Go ahead and call Bobby down to the cargo bay.
What are we practicing it before we let Bobby do it?
I'm still jacking off. 1 second.
Okay. So,
because I thought Torn was like, "Ooh, come help!"
Yeah. So Ares like flutters off like, and then just like kind of hides.
So we're practicing right now. Is what you're saying? Okay.
I love the noise that Ares makes.
So let's say we play a couple rounds of that, and I ask Karina whether or not she thinks this setting is challenging enough, and I kind of just kick the tires on what she thinks would make it a better experience.
And every time you either tackle Ares for capture the flag or shoot him for the targeting round, you hear this little hee that tickles
oh gosh,
from the speakers.
I just imagine Laszlo and Catch standing from the top of the stairs oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely watch.
Yeah, cool. All right, so let's say we dial in the game and we figure out the parameters, and then I'm finally all right, I think we're ready to reveal this to Bobby. See what he thinks.
He's gonna freak out.
Let's give him.
Hey guys.
Your pants are zipped, correct? Hey Bobby.
Bobby was never beating off.
Yeah, we just to make it clear, there was not a single beat off.
As Bobby comes to the stairs, he kind of sees us all staring at him. I'm like, hey, bud, I think I have something I'd love to give you. If you could come down here.
I'm gonna be love to give me. What do you what do you have in mind?
Torn starts doing that frenetic sweating again, and he's like, "Dude, it's not that serious." And he pulls out this really beautifully wrought light rifle, and he goes, "I think we have a game that you might want to play with us."
So awkward.
Jeez, Torn, you make this any more
Feels
awkward?
like the Hunger Games.
He just kind of looks
Are we
around.
gonna
I
kill
don't
each
know,
other?
hunt him through the ship.
He looks around and he's just fine, you do it. And he just kind of throws the gun at Dash and walks to the corner.
And as Torn walks to the corner, Ares, who recognizes the spike in his cortisol levels, just and then floats over just to hang out next to him, floating him in the air, giving him little smiles and stuff.
And Torn deeply under his breath so that literally no one could hear him goes, "Thanks, buddy."
Dash takes the rifle and walks up to Bobby, and she says, "Here you go," and just kind of sets it in his hands and says, "We made this game. I think you'll find it fun."
What's the game? No one's just have a fucking rifle.
Right. Torn
come
gets
up with a name
he gets
for
all
it.
excited when he hears him ask what the game is, and he wakes up out of his stupor, and he walks immediately, Ares is just following him, just and then he stands in the center with Ares, and he's just all right, Ares, let's show him. And then he walks him through a couple of rounds of gameplay and says, "It's supposed to be 2 teams. I only showed you one phase of it. But hey, we have a lot of time to kill, and I think this would be a great way to do it. What do you think?" And he just kind of he says, "Karina really helped dial in these details. She struggled so hard to not tell you. And now that we're finally at the place that we can bring you in, we can finally have full teams."
I think this is awesome. How do the guns work? Is this is all safe? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean they're just light
No
rifles,
one's gonna get hurt.
and then he just like points at Bobby's head and he pulls the trigger, and then it's just a little light beam. Wait, does Star Wars exist?
Whoa, okay. I'm gonna take a step back for a minute, and like that freaks me out a little bit that you were just like gonna point a fucking gun at me and pull the trigger.
I think once you understand,
I'm not sold on this game right now.
Okay, fine.
Bobby is very delicate. You need to be careful.
All right, so Torn kind of like puts his hands there. He's like fair. I guess you being in combat as much as I have. It's very common for me to want to point a weapon, especially when I know it's not going to fire. This is not a real weapon, and he just kind of like points it at his head and pulls the trigger a few times.
Yes.
And you see his whole like bald pate like light up with different colors each time he pulls it.
Well, doesn't he? Didn't you say in your bio that like after he shaved his head, you see a bunch of scars on like his scalp?
Sure, yeah.
So, as he's like pulling the trigger on it like illuminates, it like casts shadows across these scars, and like everyone kind of sees him a little bit more, than maybe they might have in like the regular like kind of low light of the normal ship.
Yeah, and as he's like pointing as he's like flashing his like scar-filled head with this, he's like having fun with it. But I think what they're starting to understand is that he has a way of dealing with PTSD that really is just about taking back control, and this is one of those ways of doing it. And like he's kind of like, you kind of see the dopey big ass man shooting himself in the head just to say, oh, it's fine. But I think the kids are all smart enough to read between the lines.
Yeah.
So what do you say? And then he just kind of like, he kind of lets the gun rest at his side without even acknowledging that there's any scars on his head. And he's like, I think this will be a good time. We have a lot of time to kill, and I think this will be probably one of the best ways we can sharpen our minds and our bodies to make sure that we're ready for. And then he just kind of pauses. He's like Roz's dad.
Are you still holding the gun? Did you? You said you like threw one at me, but did I?
No,
I don't know if I
threw it at Dash, and she gave you the weapon that.
Oh,
yeah. So you have it, and then I pointed mine at you, and then I pointed it at myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like, yeah, I'm just gonna like kind of like pick the gun up and like just by the grip with one arm and like rest it on my shoulder and be like looking at Torn pretty like straight eyed and be like, I guess you won't hesitate to shoot one of us if the time ever comes.
Oh my god, relax.
He just starts laughing. He's like, you got to acknowledge Gallows humor when you see it, but there's no chance I'm ever pointing a weapon at any of you. Now, what do you say? And then he just kind of like,
what if I turn into one of those Ambro goblins? You're not gonna do it then?
Torn has no idea what that is.
Yeah,
no,
I respect you enough to pull the trigger, bro.
Torn thought the other creatures, not the ones that transform. So he actually doesn't know what.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
And then, so Torn just kind of like he takes it seriously, and he so his gun has a sling. Actually, if it's like Ender's Game, all your gun is kind of attached to you, right? So his gun is a sling, and he kind of rests his arm on both sides of the weapon, and he just kind of like stands there, and he goes, I don't know what that is, son, but no, I don't think I'll be shooting you even if you did.
I'm gonna point the gun at his chest and shoot him, and then be like, "All right, I'm just playing with you. Let's go."
And then he just kind of like he puts his index finger and his thumb into his eyes, and he like squints. He's just like, fucking kids. And then he sets up Ares for the first round. He's like, okay, let's go.
So how cool is it that I just realized that Torn is your first character that has had no contact with anything Ambro Squid related?
Yeah. What was the name of it was vampire something.
Thralls. Ambro Thralls.
Yeah. So basically, and it's funny because I'm actually just using the contagion fear based off of previous characters' experience and not his own, but I'm sure we could build his back.
I mean, he's a soldier. I mean,
yeah, he's been in space. There may be a chance that he's running into a Xeno in his career, but
I would also love for him to run into Chum and potentially Nux, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh my god! Make me access 3 people in one night.
It's gonna happen to everybody eventually. Anyone who makes it to like the last arc with multiple characters, you're doing solos like with all your characters for sure.
I mean, Kyle had 3. He was juggling 3 at the end.
Amazing, honestly amazing.
Yeah, I think his was like the hardest to pull out because his characters all had completely different accents.
Yeah, French. But remember Regis? Kyle was doing British accent there with Regis at the end.
True.
So
cool. I basically use this format of the gameplay to really push them and really like challenge them. I want them to be like, I don't know if you guys know the story about Black Swan, but he would the director Aronofsky would tell each Portman and what's her name, Kunis. He would tell each of them at different times that each actor was doing a better job than them, just to like get them to like get better at it. So Torn kind of uses his military training with some of Dash's psychological awareness of these kids to kind of push them out of their comfort zone, but really it's in the goal to make them really confident in their skills and feel like they can gain control over their nightmares and gain control over their depression.
Can I roll an observation to see if I can tell that he's trying to manipulate us?
100%.
Is that
100%. And like before the game starts though, like while Karina's like eyeing him down, Torn feels like basically somebody like if somebody were to like knock on the door, but it's like on his kneecap.
Wait, sorry, what?
Torn feels somebody like knocking on a door, but it's like on his kneecap.
Oh, Torn immediately looks down.
And one-eyed Laszlo is like staring right back up at him, and he points at the light rifle, and then he points to his chest.
Points to his own chest?
Yeah.
And then so Torn kind of like looks at Karina, and he's like, what is he asking?
I think he wants you to either shoot him or give him the light rifle. I don't know which.
So Torn gingerly takes off the light rifle and like hands it to Laszlo.
And like he slings it over his shoulder and then looks at the group of all of you, and then he's only got like 4 little paws or four little like appendages on his paws, and like he counts out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he points to himself and he goes 6. So it's 3 on 3.
And then Torrance just like, I knew I loved this guy. and then let's just say we created enough light rifles for everyone, like, you know, backups and whatnot. And then he goes and pulls out another light rifle.
Very cool. Very cool. So then you guys play this game pretty much like every day, and it sounds like an awesome game. So like I imagine that like it would get relatively competitive. Like, is there a like 2 established teams?
No, different teams every day. Different teams every match.
Every day. So
yeah, let's say day. Yeah.
Is there any combination of team that typically wins every time that they're put together?
Ooh, I'm not gonna wade into that.
I mean, obviously it's Laszlo, Karina, and Bobby.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that like Dash, Ibiov, and Torn, like there's multiple times where like the group is all split up, but every single time that Bobby, Karina, and Laszlo are on a group together, every single time,
big closers,
you guys get absolutely wrecked. Like not even like comparatively. Like the game's always over like within like a minute or 2.
Oh, okay. You know what? I think this is a great opportunity. So let's say, can you give us a place in the timeline in the 37 days?
Day 13.
Okay. All right. Day 13.
Like 2 weeks. How long did it? I imagine it took you like one afternoon to come up with this game. And we were on day 3, so it's been like 10 days.
Yeah, I think by the time we had our first game, it was probably like 2 weeks, because I'm sure Karina helped us dial in quite a bit. So can we put it like halfway between the 37
like
days?
Day 21.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, it's Torn. So it's Torn, Dash, and Ibiov on one team, and you know, again, new team per day. And Karina, Bobby, and Laszlo's team, they just fucking trounced them, and then you see Torn fucking lose it at the end of this match. He throws his rifle on the ground and he storms off, and he's just like, you know, in a way, you're making me resent the fact that I made this game because, and then he turns around and like there's like a sea change in him. Like you thought he was like belligerently mad, but he turns around because he's like, because you guys just made me so fucking proud. And then he's just like sobbing like a grown man, like because I know no matter what threat we encounter as a team, we are going to overcome it with overwhelming force. And he's just like he motions to hug everyone.
Aw.
That's why they call him Big Sweet.
Big Sweet.
And then he just like, and so that's day 21. He's like sobbing. He's just like, thank you, but next time you beat me, I'm coming for you in your sleep.
Yes.
Karina wants to encourage Laszlo to like give him a little hug.
Oh yeah. After he says that, Laszlo like walks over and like looks up towards Torn, and they have like a solidly awkward like 14-second silence, and then he like raises up his tiny little fist in a fist bump towards Torn.
And then Torn just leans down his prodigiously large fist, which is almost the full size of Laszlo, just like touches his light little fist.
Yep.
Karina is so proud. Laszlo's really opening up.
Yep. So then, in all this time, did Bobby and Laszlo ever commit a Mission Impossible style job to shit in Commander Torn's boots like Bobby's like Bobby said he was gonna do last session? You thought I'd forget, but I didn't.
No. I'm not gonna tell Laszlo like what he should do, but I feel like that would be a bridge too far.
That would be egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Laszlo.
Yeah, I don't want to get on Torn's bad side. Like, I'm wary of him, but so far we get along. So
I think the second that Torn handed Laszlo that rifle, he's like on his side.
Yeah.
Like not like obsessed in love with him, but just like, you know, in his own way.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So outside of the game and the educational, in like this whole period of 21 days, did Torn and Dash ever continue to meet up to discuss the children, like away from their prying years?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, Karina did pass that observation check to find out that we were playing the game, but can we say that even though she was trailing me a lot, that she just kind of like maybe punted whenever I kind of met up with Dash?
My question would be, once Karina sort of figured out what they were doing behind closed doors, did she continue to follow him around?
Oh, good point.
Well, she wasn't following him around to see what he was sneaking about. She was trying to like, I don't know, be a little like leader in the ship and like practice her.
Yeah. You know what? Let's maybe just use that then. Because let's say she's trying to learn, because, you know, I've had so much experience in Odessan military. Maybe she's trying to pick up some of those details the same way Bobby is trying to pick up medic details.
She also knows that you have you earned the trust of Vasily, and like you know how to talk to people in power. Like she understands that.
Okay. So you're just learning diplomacy.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her whole deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's trying to learn a little bit more about like how you talk to people, like when you're being like respectful, like what, like how you have such a commitment to, like why you have such a commitment to the military that you do, because she understands that you like you're willing to give your life to it. And so she kind of in addition to wanting to like practice her diplomacy, she kind of wants to understand like what makes someone loyal to like the military and the government. Even though he's not Odessan, he has like such a interest in being like great at this mission. So she's kind of trying to see how he like why he is the way that he is.
Yeah, I would say let's say there was a moment where you kind of like corner me in the bridge and you kind of just start asking me questions, like trying to bust through my awkwardness. But because we're like a couple of weeks in at this point, I'm not as obtusely awkward as I was before. Still a little bit, but maybe she asks him a point blank question like, "Hey, like, why are you so loyal?" And then
I think that's within her. Like, what makes you so committed to the cause?
Yeah, so he starts talking about situations where, as a colonist living out in the wilds, how chaotic it was, how much violence there was, and until a distant military came, there was actually no order. The idea is that colonists sit out there in space and they have some sense of autonomy, but that sense of autonomy is there's no justice in it. There's no clarity. There's no focus. In all of his experiences, he would see violence meted out against poor people, violence meted out against people just in the sense of opportunity. And then when Odessa showed up, things changed. Things were deeply violent in the beginning, but he kind of leaned into the order that came after that violence. And I mean, I think it's safe to say that we kind of know, even if it's not fascist, it's more or less autocratic. But he leaned into that autocracy, and he found service in it. He found value in it. He found strength in it. He became much stronger than he ever was when he was just a colonist out in the wilds, and he's much better for it now. So basically, to him, Odessa can do no wrong, and that is why he puts his service so willingly and is willing to lay his life down for these kids.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's why I'm as loyal as I am. But also, I find growth in service. Just by being challenged, you find out really who you are, and in a real way, I seek that out more than I seek interaction with. And he kind of like looks at her. He's like, people.
So Karina's like really kind of relieved in terms of she has no question about like what Odessa has done for her and like her place in society, but she also remembers getting into arguments with people about like the harsh rules of like Darren even brought it up, like you get sent to the jungle for stealing bread and you get sent to the jungle for murder. Like, where's the line?
Darren had a point.
Yeah, so she's thought about that, but she also like really appreciates hearing from someone who feels like he's benefited from this society and the chaos of like the outside versus the like controlled nature. If you just follow the rules, like to her 14-year-old brain, because it's more nuanced than that, obviously, but to her, like, if you just follow the rules, then you won't get in trouble and you will benefit from like all of the great things that the society has to offer. So she appreciates his insight and she'll tell him that, like, thanks for explaining that to me. I know some people find it difficult to understand why Vasily is the way that he is and why he makes his rules, but I do think that it's better than just, outlaws running around in chaos. I've been there too.
And like, Karina knows his family history now too, so she knows that like it's not even really Vasily that made the rules. Like this has been like just the way that Odessa has
from
been
the start,
for like 150 years, because they have such harsh rules because like it was so difficult to build that wall and keep the fucking early colonists safe from like the savagery of that jungle.
Yeah.
Once they finally got that wall built, they were like, yo, we're not fucking around anymore. Like anyone who fucks off goes out into the jungle. Like,
yeah. So she's even more in her beliefs that like it's a good, like it couldn't be better, basically. Like this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, and to that point that you said about Vasily, because you said something about how someone aligning to him, even though some of his rules may be like harsh or whatever, and like Torn kind of replies to that. He's like, I can't pretend to know what is going through his head, but I do know the path that he has always set me on has been extremely rewarding.
Great.
But yeah, the whole point of this little aside was whether or not you knew that I was meeting with Dash about the health of you guys.
Yeah.
So do you feel like maybe because you were, you kind of like you've relaxed a little bit knowing that I'm not manipulating you, that you wouldn't be concerned whether or not I have conversations one-on-one with Dash?
Yeah, so she's not really. The one manipulation thing was when you straight up said that you were trying to like trying to manipulate us about the game.
Oh yeah, that was a long-term goal though. That wasn't like in this game I want you to, you know.
Yes, no, for sure. So like she's not. Once she found out that it was like the game that you guys were like sneaking about and talking about, she's not like hyper vigilant or worried about it or anything. She's feeling pretty secure in the fact that you guys are like on her side. And again, she trusts Vasily, so she knows like that you wouldn't have been sent up here with her and Bobby if he didn't know what he was doing. So yeah, she's not gonna like follow you guys into rooms while you're talking to each other about us. If that's
actually a good point, because wouldn't Vasily have just sent you off with what's the golden god, the clone?
Alexei.
Yeah, he would have just sent you off with him if there was a if there was ever a concern about anyone else. And I kind of reach out to Dash and I'm like, hey Dash, can I have a word with you?
Yeah, what's up, Commander?
So I understand that the kids, the teenagers, have certain mental health concerns. Is it possible to track improvement there with depression or nightmares?
I mean, I can look at their vitals and kind of get a glean from that, but as far as what they're individually working on, that's between them and their psychiatrist from back home. I don't get too much involved with that. And
okay.
I specialize more in the broken bones.
Okay, so let's say he, like Torn just kind of says, I have high hopes for these teenagers. I want them to do well. I'd love to see if we could, I don't know, take emotional welfare checks or something over the course of the next several weeks, because we have a long way to go before we catch up to Roz, and I want to make sure that they're as prepared as possible to meet challenges they may have never encountered before.
Commander, I'm going to level with you. These children scare the hell out of me. I don't want anything to do with them other than mending their scraped knees.
Something I would, and it's like Torn kind of like takes that in, but also acknowledges that, he's not quite sure what they are either, even though he has like guesses. But he kind of leans back and he goes, I mean, how would you treat specialists out on a mission, right? Specialists operate on their own. They do what they need to do. And we're always in support. Even though I am captain of this mission, I am a pilot. To that point, my goal is to make sure that Vasily's faith in us is achieved. So in a way, what's there to be scared of when we know that he wouldn't have put us on this mission if he didn't think that we would succeed?
Well, I'm not scared of the mission. I am literally terrified by these children.
Maybe. And so this is like early in our fight, early in the game, right? So he kind of just suggests maybe seeing how we will whip their asses in this game will give you confidence that they're not as terrifying as they seem.
I'll go along with it, but I don't know. This might cement my feelings about them even more. Seeing what they can really do.
Well, either way, Dash, I have your back and I have theirs. So I want to make sure that everyone succeeds together. So if you have any concerns over the course of this mission, please do not hesitate to reach out to me.
You got it, Captain.
So then the next day, the Roving Dawn approaches the border of the Killslayer Quadrant's west bank. Along this fringe, nearly 600 security stations sit to observe any ships entering and departing the sector. Roughly 8 hours after passing across the barrier into PMAX space, an alarm from the bridge alerts Commander Torn to an incoming live message.
I have the message read out while I'm in the bridge alone.
And it says, "You saw a ship. This is a live message from Planet Earth Military Assault Corps Killslayer Border Station, AV-21C. Slow your engines and bring your ship to a complete halt. Once you've complied, send us your clearance codes for entering PMAX space. Do not delay in this matter. Your compliance is appreciated."
Okay, he puts them on mute. Is there anything in the mission dossier that tells us that we were ever cleared for PMAX space?
Yeah, you've got codes.
Okay, so he formulaically relays the information that they request in a very matter-of-fact fashion. This is Roving Dawn. We're coming into PMAX space. Right? He makes it super casual, just like the airline pilots of yesteryear.
Yeah.
He goes first time entering Earth orbit. This is we're looking forward to it.
And it takes about 30 minutes for you to bring the Roving Dawn to a full and complete stop, having traveled just about 100,000 miles into the PMAX zone. On slowdown, the hull of the ship shudders and rends, producing the occasional squeal of heated metal cooling down from the frigid reach of space. After sending the codes, Torn waits roughly about 10 minutes before receiving a new message of, "Here you go, Captain. Codes acquired. Hang tight. We'll get back to you soon." And then the ship spends about an hour waiting before that same voice spills over into the bridge to say, "Entrance to PMAX space granted, Roving Dawn. We have delivered your perfunctory permit codes as proof that you have been vetted and accepted. You have a safe journey out there."
5x5.
And then 15 days after that, it is now February 3rd, 2178. The Roving Dawn has arrived at their destination. Looking out the front viewport from the bridge, Torn sees the massive gas giant of Shord 4. A mixture of pale green and light brown vapors swirl brightly, a deep contrast to the seemingly infinite interstellar darkness. 3 moons orbit the gas giant, but only one of them appears to have any kind of civilized abundance. Alocin is a small world, roughly 1/3 the size of Odessa. At one point, it had simply been a large floating rock, just like its sibling moons, but 136 years of corporate fume mining has seen the risen of a factory-based colony. On your approach, it's clear to see the 2 continuous lines of starships both flying towards Shord from Alocin and returning. The sky of Alocin is pocked with green clouds pumping up from countless smokestacks, and this obscures much of the colony except a few skyscrapers that sit above the clouds. Floating in low orbit above the city is a corporate space station with the company name Megasurge, plastered across its hull in honestly way too many places. During your approach, lights on the short-range communication station start to blink and beep a digital warning to Torn. You gotta roll Comtech to flip on your short-range comms.
Now that we're in PMAX space, I have invited everyone to the bridge.
Okay.
I have given them a status update that we have entered PMAX space, and we are. Can I give an ETA as to how far off we are from the ship? Because we were in PMAX space for 15 days, and then this planet that we've come upon, is that saying that the ship is in orbit, the ship is on the planet, or?
Okay, so
while Karina is on the bridge, I ask her, now that we're more friendly, if she can give me a contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we're doing a +1 on my contact roll.
So you can see that red line on the map is how long it took from Novoye Odessa to Shord 4. It's 37 days with your ship.
We just failed that contact.
Oh, I can try, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'll give you a +1.
Yep.
Okay.
So as you guys are struggling with the short range, Ares just kind of floats over and then jacks in, and you guys hear the voice of a young man say, "Approaching ship, please slow down to vector approach speed. Deliver your ship clearance codes and permits for travel. We do not travel down to the planet. Approach the docking pavilion of this station at low speed, and we will be with you shortly."
Okay, so we're in PMAX space. What is it? A docking bay? Is it a station?
This is what it looks like from the outside.
Okay.
But it's floating in low orbit above the planet of Alocin, which is where Raz's dad is from. So they don't allow ships to dock on the planet. They force all the ships to dock on the space station, and then they carry people down in shuttles.
Okay. All right. So while we're futzing with the shortwave, before I make a decision to reply to them, I ask everyone if they would please arm themselves and put your armor in a reduced state, because everyone has these guys all have the backpacks, right? And we can say over the course of the last 37 days, I learned how the armor works, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We will be trying to enter planet side soon, and I want you to be prepared when we get there.
So as Bobby and Karina are off, like loading up on armor and weapons.
And she'll put her suit on underneath her armor too.
Okay. Well, he told you to like pop it into your backpack because you can like shrink it down into like a backpack type thing.
Yeah, tiny little.
Oh, well, can't wait.
So you can wear the backpack over the flight suit, and then the armor comes over. So, but like 8 minutes into that, like while they're off doing that, the short range communications beep again, and after Torn answers it, he hears the pleasant tone of, "You're greenlit to dock. Nemeus, go ahead and slowly make your way into mooring D6. Leave all personal weapons behind with you on the ship. This station and the planet below have a strict policy for civilians and visiting tourists. Thank you." And then it's like, Torn then needs to roll piloting to successfully pilot the ship into this station's dock.
Okay, before I do that, because what's the window to dock?
You should be docked within about 30 minutes, like on your approach.
All right, so I take Ares aside, and can we do a silo on me?
Yeah. All right, and he's just floating there like.
I want Ares to prepare an escape pod with all of the weapons we are about to take off of ourselves, and I want to try and see if he can geolocate us when we are planet side to drop that escape pod on us when I request it.
Go ahead and roll a Comtech.
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. All right, yes, that will work.
Hell yeah. All right, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so as Ares flutters off, I roll piloting to get us into the docking.
Okay.
There we go.
Nice.
All right, so go ahead and successfully describe your docking maneuver.
So Torn, he kind of, yes. Okay, so he like sits in this chair, and then everyone gets to see like him in his like best form. As he sits in the chair like reclines him backwards, and then the screen expands in front of him to show like the full vista of the data that's required to dock with this ship. As you see him recline, he deftly pilots. You can almost imperceptibly perceive that his big ass hands are like moving these very delicate symbols to slowly glide the ship into first a sort of parallel position, and then he backs it into the ship with aplomb. He can even hear over the radio someone chimes. They're just like, "God damn!" and he slides it into base so close and so perfectly to the dock that everyone's just like, "How the fuck did you do that?"
Okay.
And then he silently just retracts without so much as a comment about the success.
Awesome. And several towers with connecting latticework of travel tubes sit atop a long, thin, rectangular, decommissioned refinery. The towers of the station appear to be built from titanium composite and other high-end alloys, and strong enough to withstand even an aggressive meteor shower. As windows are typically a luxury in space, orbiting stations like these typically provide recreation hubs inside and corporate-funded gardens for their long-term employees.
I just mentioned casually, almost, we'll have to rescind the order on weapons. I'd like you to leave them in the storage bay where we keep the light rails, the light guns.
This is to Brian, Bobby, and Karina.
Yeah, it's everyone who is armed. I just tell them leave it where the light guns are on our way out. We are not allowed to bring anything planetside. Keep your armor.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave them on a sheet if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's actually exactly the move. Do not remove them from your sheet because Daddy's working on a plan.
So is Dash joining them, or is she staying on the ship?
She's gonna go with them.
Okay. What about the Smartimals? Are they staying on the ship, or are they coming along?
I think she's gonna leave Catch on the ship just because, could leave someone behind to protect the ship. She'll take Laszlo though. Can she tell Catch like if anyone comes on the ship that isn't us, defend the ship?
Yeah, he nods.
And can I like request Ares that any unauthorized personnel not be allowed on the ship regardless?
Yeah, and after you guys all walk out onto the umbilical arm, you hear the door behind you lock.
Okay.
And after the exterior bulk doors to the umbilical arm open and stretch out to connect with the station, Torn watches as small puffs of air spray out around the entrance to confirm a seal. At the end of the umbilical, one of the station's bulkhead doors slides open, revealing 2 of the station's security officers standing there, waiting for you all to walk your way down. And one of them looks sort of down the path that you guys and goes, "Which one of you is Commander Torn?"
Torn steps forward with confidence and total military poise. He exactingly steps right in front of this man, extends his arm, and goes, "Commander Torn reporting."
He goes, "Good, you're to meet with our Naval Dock Pavilion Chief Officer before traveling down to the planet. You can find her on this level of the station by following the west corridor past the employee lounge. The rest of your party can wait for you in the lounge."
Okay, so he like motions for everyone to follow him, and then he kind of gives them all a glance. You know, we are in PMAX space. Be on your best behavior, but also notice everything and let me know what you see. And he leaves them in the lounge.
So as Bobby, Karina, and Dash all walk into the lounge, they see, a bunch of different tables and chairs. There's a bunch of crew people hanging around, talking to each other, milling about. There's 2 people like standing in like at a bar. Basically, they have sort of a little restaurant here.
She's gonna walk pretty authoritatively and hope that the others are behind her, and she's gonna come over. Are these seats like couches up here?
Yes.
Okay, she'll sit like over here in the corner where she can see basically in every direction except for like this room, because I'm assuming this is like a wall.
Yeah, it is.
So
Dash, even with as coolly as she's been acting towards them, knows when to turn the military on and fall in line, and she sticks close behind Karina.
I'm gonna saunter around for a bit. I would be very overwhelmed walking into this situation. This isn't something Bobby's used to experiencing, so I'm not gonna like ditch Karina and Dash, but like I'm not gonna stick right behind them. Like I'll probably like keep them in eyesight, but like just kind of walk around and check shit out, I guess. Is that a bar right there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So it's kind of like a restaurant or like cantina thing.
Yeah.
There.
It's like a little space cantina.
Sure. Why not? I'll go, talk to the barkeep and just like order a soda or something.
Yeah. So as you walk up and take a seat.
wait, one sec. Can Karina be using her ear to like eavesdrop on whatever Bobby's doing?
Roll a contact.
Try to.
Roll contact.
Why you gotta eavesdrop?
Because I'm trying to like pay attention to what's going on. He said to observe everything.
So as she's sitting over there in her corner, Dash watches as like Karina reaches up and like dials a piece of her ear to like hear better, and she hears very clearly that the cook saddles up to the bar when she sees Bobby, and she goes, "Hey bud, how long were you out in space?"
So Bobby's gonna obviously not understanding that Karina is listening to him, but he's gonna be like, "Hey man, I've been hanging out with like these 3 stiffs for like longer than I would like to have at this point. It's been how long have we been out there? Like 2 days.
37 days.
Oh, what is there to do around here for fun?
Well, we got the gardens, we got the hollow room. You can go in there and basically like it'll project different places from planets. So you kind of go and just sit down and you get like a calming mist on your face, and they play some nice music and you get to look around. And I mean, other than that, it's like, basically watching the Donkey Talk or Galanet or any of that kind of stuff. We just all kind of stick to ourselves. This is our area that we hang out.
Cool. Yeah,
And you said you wanted a soda. We got like 150 different flavors. What are you looking for?
you ever heard of Mountain Dew?
Oh, absolutely. It's like our most requested thing.
Really?
Well, I mean, it surges you up. Like the corporation that runs this place is called Mega Surge, and they definitely own a bunch of old Earth soda companies. So they might have Mountain Dew. I'm not sure.
Mega Surge. That reminds me of the actual drink Surge.
Yeah, so the super secret canon is that like Mega Surge is just the company's Surge in the future.
Oh my god. I can't
I love that.
Right?
can't forget getting Surge slushies at 7-Eleven when I was a kid, man. It's so cool.
Did Surge even have caffeine? Like,
Yes,
I think,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, it did.
I remember in like second grade when I was in Georgia, this kid brought a bunch, like a 6-pack of it to school, and like him and his buddies at the lunch table drank it all, and like just went off the
Holy
fucking.
shit.
They just went off the fucking rails, and then our school banned all sodas from being brought to school.
What are they?
Wikipedia
Like
says
journals?
it
What?
was advertised as having a more quote hardcore edge.
Yeah, it was. It was the shit. It
Right.
was the shit.
They should just bring back cocaine and Coca-Cola. That
I
would
mean,
have
honestly, in my mind, Surge is the epitome peak of like 1990 to 1995. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and what was born out of that was the Four Loko movement, where they had like alcohol and that caffeinated bullshit in it too. It's just nonsense.
Surge was, it was like oh god, it was like drinking fucking crack.
Can you buy Surge on eBay still?
I'm sure. I mean,
I think Surge is still in production actually,
is it?
because it didn't kill me.
Yes.
No,
It
it
says
didn't kill
that
me.
It's back.
They re-released it in southeastern United States in 2015, and they re-released it internationally in September 2018 in Burger King.
Oh yeah, okay,
wait.
yeah.
So-
It's like there was this brand in the South when I was growing up in Florida called RC Cola, and it was like the only Coca-Cola that had caffeine in it, like at that level. And so whenever you go to the South, everyone's like, "Yeah, man, you drinking RC?" It's like, no, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know RC Cola, dude.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I
Yeah.
liked it. Yeah, I liked it.
I thought it was like Dr.
It's called
Pepper.
Royal Crown or something like that. But I totally don't remember. But yeah, I'm just like getting flashbacks of drinking soda as a teenager.
So
68 milligrams of caffeine in a can.
68.
Yeah, I
I think it's actually much less than green tea in a yeah,
there was
because
a lot of sugar though too. I think.
yeah, coffee is 95 in an 8 ounce, and then tea is green tea. Green tea is the big one. Oh, I thought
Holy shit.
yeah. Wait, was that Surge at 2 liter? Was that or what? An 8 ounce?
It's just a pint can.
Oh, okay.
So then after they discontinued Surge, Coke put out Vault, which
Oh,
contained higher levels of caffeine. It had 70.5 milligrams per their 12 fluid ounces versus Surge's 51. So 20 milligrams more.
Nice.
So they discontinued one and then they made a worse one.
Yeah, I mean that's capitalism at its best.
It
Right?
is.
Yeah.
Truly.
So
wait,
that's
that was
when
Pepsi or Coke?
Used provocative catchphrases to market Surge to extreme sports enthusiasts and teenagers, like "Feed the Rush," "Life's a Scream," and a fully loaded citrus soda.
yeah. So
Oh, those impressionable youths.
the cook like leans
Oh, fuck.
across the counter and is like, "Hey kid, so you trying to feed the rush?"
It says that Surge had a considerable number of carbohydrates, hence the "with carbos" tagline that was originally used in the marketing campaigns to emphasize the fact that Surge was supposed to be more than a soda, but an energy drink as well. So Bobby's in for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pre-energy drinks though. They didn't even exist when
yeah.
Surge.
Pre-energy drinks.
Oh,
He goes, if you're ready for Mountain Dew, I got something called Mega Vault. you want to try that out?
what is Megavolt?
And he just like pulls this like canister like out from underneath, and it's like a 10-inch chrome mixing glass kind of thing, and there's just like glowing purple liquid bubbling like at the top.
God.
Holy shit.
He goes, this thing will give you wings.
Oh my god.
I'm torn because Bobby like needs to kind of be fucked up for a bit, like to cope. But I don't think right now, like towards the end of the mission, is the right time. You know?
No,
Can you take it to go?
Yeah, I'll ask the barkeep.
Take it into Go Cup.
I'm super curious about Megavault. Like, where can I buy some in cans?
He's like, well, I mean, we make it here on Alocin. It's one of the things that we produce. Like, it takes like 1 million tons of chemicals to process.
I'm gonna
A
slap the and be like, wait, you guys make this shit?
Yeah, I mean, literally, the space station's called like Megasurge, or yeah. So like, we are the company. Our main company is down there, pumping out stuff. Like the same company that makes Megasurge is also the same company that harnesses all of that star fuel engine liquid.
They just put it in shit for people to drink.
It's only yeah. There's only two different ingredients.
That is so classic, though. Like a corporation's just like, oh, we have this byproduct. Let's give it to people to eat.
Yep. It's just like you remove one thing and it's Megavault.
Can Karina, knowing that Bobby is debating on whether or not to just get drunk, basically, / super fucked up on some soda, eavesdrop on the other people around?
Yeah, they're all just having basic like conversations. Like, you hear a couple of people flirting over in the corner. You see one guy complaining about his supervisor to another person. You talk to another person about how like the air conditioning, or you listen to another person talking about how like this is like the third time this deployment that like the air conditioning in his unit hasn't worked. It's all just random, just like kind of crosstalk.
Okay.
Bobby's making that face as we look at this dude describe.
Yes.
Describe the fucking full setup.
Yes.
Type in to find that.
Dude with hat meme. I know there's so many memes with
classic.
With hats. Like, I couldn't remember. I don't even know what this meme is called. But.
So is he gonna get a Megavault slushie?
I'm gonna totally pass on that. Bobby knows his worth. He's like not that reckless to take jet fuel or like engine fuel in a soda per chance. I don't know. It sounded super sketchy. I'm gonna like politely decline.
Yeah, Bobby's learning. So then, like, over in the command center, Torn walks in, past a pair of security officers up to sort of the central area. And Naval Dock Chief Callahan turns and sees him, and she goes, "Good afternoon. You must be Captain Laurel Torn. I must say I haven't seen quite many ships like that. Take it you must have just flown in from the USAR. Well, pray tell, if you don't mind, what is your local business here on the Alocin?"
Torn takes a second to think about his response. How many people are in the room?
Let me look. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, including you.
Holy shit. Okay. Torn, recognizing just the sheer overwhelming amount of people, regardless of whether or not they're in a security position. He just understands that, you know, he's no longer in Kansas. He kind of walks up and he goes, yes, thank you for the prestigious honor of being able to dock with your ship. We are on a mission to adopt a child. We have a family that is desperately seeking a child that we're here for. And he's just kind of looking around as he gives that spiel.
And then she takes everything in and she looks him up and down, and she goes, "You know, it's not very hard to surmise from your posture and general vibe that you've served. Are you retired or active duty?"
Well, not active in any formal sense. I have definitely not been deployed to combat in many years at this point. I'm actually a pilot, and he kind of points to his ship, and he's like, "And this prestigious ship, the Roving Dawn, that you have complimented, it is actually the best I've ever served with."
And then she takes that in, and she turns and taps a couple buttons on the console in front of you. And Callahan pulls up a holographic security feed of the employee lounge. It focuses in on Dash and Bobby, Karina. And she looks at you and she says, "The identification codes that you provided listed a total of 5 passengers on the ship. You, Veronica Dash, and Ibia Starlove, and 2 children. What is the nature of this group collective? You said that you're here to adopt a child. Are you a family?"
Absolutely. What you'll be seeing when you look into our records is proof positive of the fact that I have many adopted children, and we are now seeking a new brother.
And she goes, "That's very generous. You must have a big heart."
Uh, as you can see by the shape of my entire body, everything is big.
And she kind of laughs, and she's not small herself, so she kind of just kind of chuckles knowingly. And
He kind of looks up or down, and he's just like, I think I know you. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
And she says, "You've been approved for planetside arrival. Understand that this colony is policed by the Gallipole. So know that our laws are the same laws as the rest of the PMAC as per Galactic Code. There will be no violence, theft, or property damage committed by you or anyone on your ship. If these rules cannot be followed, you will be expected to adhere to the same justice system that all of the locals are. Is this understood, Captain?"
I assure you that we are not here to cause trouble. But thank you for the reminder.
All right. And then pulling out a key slicer chip, Callahan taps it on 5 separate digicards and hands them all to Torn and says, "Do not lose these. Provide 1 to each of your crew. It will be your identification while here. Take these and make your way east through the station past the lounge and the docking bay. You'll find our shuttle hull for departures and arrivals to the planet at the opposite end from where we stand now. Have a good day, Commander."
Thank you so much, and you as well.
And then as Torn goes and kind of heads out, what does he do when he gets back to the lounge to take everybody else? And when he gets back there, has Bobby gone to sit with Karina and Dash, or is he still hanging out at the bar?
Yeah, I got my soda and paid up and then left.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go.
He's over here.
Hang out.
And on the way to the lounge, can I roll a contact to see if these slivers that she gave us are trackers?
Yeah.
Man, I feel like I'm operating on like boss level captain shit right now.
So Torn would recognize, as his time in the military, that these are essentially just standard PMAC society ID cards.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so he walks in the lounge and he just kind of takes stock. He can kind of surmise that everyone is kind of having banal conversations. He looks for Dash.
Way across the room, he sees that Dash is sitting on a pair of couches with Karina and Bobby is sipping away at a soda.
Perfect. So he kind of walks up, and I'm sure there's some dialect differences between PMAC and USAW that people are starting to pick up on now. So he's kind of trying to play into that to kind of show that USAW has arrived, and he goes, "Found you,
Commander."
Yeah. So we're clear to land. We're clear to go planet side whenever you are. We have to make way to a shuttle across the way, but happy to grab a drink and hang in the meantime.
All right. Are we leaving now?
He kind of looks around. He's just like, "Yeah, we should probably leave now."
So Torn leads the group out of the lounge, sort of down a couple more hallways to the shuttle bay. And as you guys get there and enter, you see that the shuttle holds seats enough for 15, and that each seat is taken once you've all entered. The small cylindrical ship is cramped and stinks of people who have been locked inside for too long. After unlatching from the station, the shuttle gently drops through low orbit to breach the thick green cloud covering. Below you, stretched out over roughly a 10-mile span, is a city that could double as a massive factory. Billowing green smoke spills into the sky from countless places, and it appears that the central of the city, with its myriad-sized skyscrapers, is the central residential and business hub. Very little sunlight makes its way through dense clouds, which casts a pale gray shade across the entire colony. Upon arriving below, the shuttle parks and unseals its exit for everyone to depart. Once the last view is gone, the automated machine wastes no time in resealing and flying back up towards the space station. Around you, the others from the shuttle make their way down a long glass corridor towards the colony hub. Following Torn, Dash, Karina, Bobby, and Laszlo all head towards the colony of Alocin.